Okay, we're starting with my setup because ours are a little bit different. Will does proper training. I am a lazy crit boy. So here is my jersey, and we're just gonna lay this out because just like my pants in real life, there are specific things that go in specific pockets. And I'm gonna start, let's just go left to right. Let's do that, why not? Okay, first one on the left is this is food. This is always food. Now this is gonna depend on what exactly I'm doing. Because if I'm just going out for a lazy boy 1 hour, maybe hour and a half ride, I am always bringing food. So there's always gonna be at least one little baby gel in there that's going to be a just in case. You always wanna come home with a little extra food. Also, wireless earbuds, not both ears, let's be responsible, okay? Let's only put one in. Right side for the Americans here, because you wanna be able to hear the sirens and things that are going off on the left. The case goes in there also, and that is gonna be the bare minimum setup on the left. Trash, by the way, actually we're gonna save that for a second. Trash, it has a specific place. But this is an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours maximum ride. But here's the thing, we can always pile in more food if we want, but you start to get cluttered with too much wrappers and too much going on. Here's what I like to do, and Buddy Will turned me on to this, and that is, wha-bam! We have a little, what do we call this thing? It's like a gel pouch. It's like make your own gels, basically. This sucker can hold 120 grams of sugar, and Formula 369 is my favorite because it is cheap. It has all the stuff you need. Why are we spending so much freaking money on things like that? When Formula 369 is cheap and you don't have to buy gels and waste all of the packaging, it can get scooped right into this here pouch, and then you put some hot water in. It makes kind of this viscous liquid. And if you're going on longer rides, like I said, more than about 2 hours is the cutoff, this is what it ends up looking like, of course, with the earbuds in there. So this is kind of longer version. Or road race version. By the way, racing, crit racing, none of the above. One gel before you race, and then you have nothing in your pockets, nice and clean. There's neutral service in races, right? Like if you get a flat, I'm not fixing a flat in a race. So that's left pocket. Let's keep this here. I'm gonna keep, because since I don't ride that much, I'm gonna do what it usually actually looks like. One bar, one gel, headphones. Okay, middle pocket. I gotta go fast, this is gonna be a 20-minute video. This is my middle pocket. I am weird because I don't actually put a saddlebag on my bike. A couple of reasons for that. The first one is I am shallow and the aesthetics of my bike look better without a saddlebag. I'm not gonna lie about it. That's the first reason. The second reason is for the longest time, because I would have a GoPro on the saddle rails, a saddle rail mount bag would get in the way of that, and that wouldn't work. So I went for one of these pouches, which always lives in this center pocket. It's kind of inconvenient because it's on your person, but I have the essentials in here. Let's actually take a look. This one happens to be made by Rafa, but you can buy these for super cheap online. You don't have to spend Rafa dollars on something like this. See the zipper here? Watertight, right? You don't want to sweat or get rainwater or anything into that. That's important. The size is important here because it fits everything I need and nothing more. The first is just one of these CO2 canisters right here. There are better solutions now. I've wanted to try, Will has one. I'm jealous of it. Will, let me borrow it. One of these electronic pumps. They've come a long way. I think it does like 2 full pump ups, but this is where I'm at now. A bit of older tech, but CO2 is super convenient if you don't use it. So you need the chuck, or whatever you call this part, and then the CO2 canister. You look like a freaking drug addict when you have these around your garage. Also, don't fly with these on the airline. You will get busted. Ask me how I know. That is the first thing that goes in there, and then a single tire iron. Now, most combinations of tire and rim, you can just hulk it over the bead, the whatever you call it, but I like having the one just in case the hands are cold. Sometimes you just have that combination, you need the tool. Oh, and I like cut the end off of it because it didn't fit well in here otherwise. So single tire iron. A multi-tool, now again, this is a Cannondale branded one, but there are a lot of options that have the same features. It's basically just all of this stuff, like 3, 4, 5, 6 Allen keys. It looks like a Torx, a Phillips, and that's about it. So it's everything you need, takes up the least amount of space. That's what's in there. Oh, plugs. So in the era of tubeless, you need plugs. Oh, this is the holy crap plug. This is mostly for like gravel bikes and like mountain tires. This is the, oh my God, I have a humongous slash. This side is the more common side for road tires. Really fast, because I don't want this to be too long of a video. The way these work is you have a hole that isn't being plugged by the sealant and you smash that in there. This is soft metal. This actually lives in your tire afterward, but it doesn't do any damage because it's very soft. And then inside there, I'm not gonna pull it back too much, but inside there is like this fabric that's impregnated with some type of compound that glues together the hole. Does a fantastic job. It has saved my skin a number of times. Very important to go in there also. And then a tube, because if all else fails, you just throw a tube in there and you're good to go. And that's why we also have the CO2 canister. Okay, that all goes in this middle pocket, and trash from your wrappers, I slide it behind that pouch when it's full in that center pocket. That's what happens there. And then finally, let's keep things here. Let's see if we can keep it all organized here. And then finally, and I promise I'm gonna wrap it up here soon, is phone. Always goes in this pocket for me in this orientation. So that's what it ends up looking like. Let me make it a little bit tidier here. There. That's what it ends up looking like. We'll do some B-roll of what it looks like on my actual back. But now, Will, your turn.
My everyday carry is a bit different. I'm gonna start with maybe what's the most important, which I feel is the phone. Controversially, maybe. I always bring this, put it in this pocket, right pocket. And I always have a $20 bill in the back, just in case. Although I do have tap to pay now, which it doesn't work everywhere, but there you go. There's that. Food. Been using these carbs fuel gels lately. I usually bring one an hour and then have another 50 grams of sugar per hour in my bottles. It can add up on rides. And sometimes I get tired of gels. So I'll bring some food that is standard of Nature Bakery bars. I like Nature Bakery bars because they're cheap. You can get the fig bars. This is a double chocolate brownie, which is also delicious. So that always goes in kind of my left pocket there. And then middle pocket is usually reserved for if I'm doing a big ride, more food or trash, but also usually my pump will just slide right in there and have a little antenna the whole ride, which is pretty fun. If I'm doing pouch, it usually replaces gels. So if I'm just putting sugar in this thing, I can usually fit 125, 150 grams of sugar in this, and then you fill it up with water the rest of the way, and it is nice. Very low trash. So you don't really need a trash pocket, you just tuck stuff in. Every once in a while I have to stop at like a Dollar General and grab extra food. But most of the time I have everything I need. And then for flat solutions, I've got that pump, but depending on what bike I'm using, I'll use a bag, a frame bag. I can clip stuff in, so I've got like a tail bag that I use sometimes, and it just clips onto the rails. It's like the Bontrager system, so it's not like strapping onto the rails there and rubbing, because sometimes that can actually cause like some paint malfunctions, which is a problem. But for travel, when I don't want my saddlebag on the back and have to unscrew the whole clip system, I'll just actually use a bar bag, which looks probably the most atrocious of all the ways that you can hold stuff. But inside of the bar bag, I usually have two tubes rather, which I usually like to carry a little bit longer valve. Right now I just have this one. If I don't have a longer valve, I'll put a valve extender on them, which is kind of nice because then you can swap it between tubes and you just buy like 48 mil tubes. But I also keep the end on just in case it rubs against everything. It's not going to poke through my bag, which I've had happen before if the valve is exposed like this. Also, another good idea is to protect your tube with something. So here in this tube, we have it in a plastic bag. Sometimes stuff just rubs against your tube and then you get a preemptive flat in your bag, which is not something you want to find out on the side of the road. It is not fun at all. Okay, so those two tubes in the bag, and then I also tend to carry a multi-tool. This is actually Jeff's, but it looks a lot like mine. And I usually always have this chain tool on there. I don't like calling people and asking for rides or calling lists and stuff like that, which is weird because I said the phone is the most important thing to have, but in emergencies I feel like you need the phone. But I like to fix things myself. So to have as many things on the multi-tool as possible, especially when training, that's what I'm gonna bring. And being able to do a chain, super nice. I've had people break chains on rides before, and being able to like turn them into single speed if you need to, or shorten their chain a little bit, solves a lot of problems, and you don't have to call people and cash in brownie points with loved ones, so that's pretty nice. You also want every tool that you're gonna need on your bike. So like my bike has a lot of Torx bolts on it. So I've got this Torx, and it comes in handy every once in a while. You don't wanna like not have the tool you need. So multi-tool is a big deal. Race day setup's gonna be a bit different. So I actually eat a lot on race day. I don't bring a phone. I did on accident a few times bring a phone. I don't bring a pump either, unless it's a gravel race and then you're just on your own race. So usually on race day, I'm actually gonna just fill my pockets a little differently. So right side is gonna be more solid food if it's a long day. No saddlebag. Yeah, pretty much nothing in terms of flat repair. You're just hoping you can get neutral service or your follow car or jump in the pit, any of that kind of stuff. No flat repair. On a road race, I will put gels in one pocket, bars in the other, and then the middle is usually reserved for if I get bottles from the car or if I need to throw trash away. It's kind of nice in races. You have green zones where you can just like toss all your trash and then you don't have to worry about carrying it. Every once in a while, you kind of throw the baby with the bathwater. So like you'll toss your trash and you just end up tossing some food and you're kind of in trouble then. But that is kind of the biggest perk of having a designated trash pocket, is you're not gonna toss food that you're probably desperately gonna need. So this is generally my race setup, is I'll have one side on one and one side on the other, just so I know immediately, like if I want a gel, left side, bar, right side, depending on what we're going for. Thanks for watching. Tell us what we did wrong. Catch you in the next one.